Speaking of quarterback, Lamar Jackson said he'd be fine if AB was a Raven, but that is not his decision to make, he said. As we've all seen the last couple of days and weeks, Lamar, Hollywood, and Antonio Brown have been working out together. I couldn't even fathom the beating that field is taking by the fastest feet in the NFL. I mean, I couldn't even... That field has to just be taking an absolute beating from those three. What an electrifying group that is, working out on a field somewhere down in Florida. Lamar Jackson, Antonio Brown, Hollywood posing for photos. Do you think if the Baltimore Ravens were to sign Antonio Brown, which, by the way, we have no idea if he's eligible to play if he was to get signed. The NFL has to do its investigation. We have no idea if Harbaugh would bring in Antonio Brown. We have no clue, but let's just do a hypothetical that they do. That offense with Antonio Brown, Hollywood Brown, Hayden Hurst, the other tight end. No, he's gone. Two tight ends, though.
Mark Andrews.
Mark Ingram as well. Lamar Jackson and an offensive line. And they still play that option throw because you can do a third option, right? Everybody knows the evolution of the zone is you can hand it. You can keep it, you can pitch it, but you can also throw it, right? Because teams started getting in a throw. You got Antonio Brown and Hollywood Brown on each side there now. You run the option, and Antonio Brown could throw the ball like 60 yards or whatever. I mean, that offense just becomes like a carnival. That offense becomes an absolute carnival over there. Do you think that's something that the Baltimore Ravens would think about? You know what? He's friends with the quarterback. That hasn't happened anywhere else. Right? I mean, well, him and Tom are very tight, I guess. So I was completely wrong. A lot of success, though. He's friends with Lamar. They've worked out together. We think we have the environment or the culture that can come in and he'll have respect for it and want to participate. Do you think the Ravens would ever make this decision to bring in Antonio Brown?
I think they would definitely do their homework and study it and figure out how he would fit in with the team, they'd want to meet with him in person. That's why the whole COVID situation doesn't help when it comes to Antonio Brown, but they'd want to meet with him, see where his head's at, and I think it would be a good value pickup for them. You're not going to have to pay him an astronomical number. You can give him a very heavily incentive deal to where, hey, you come up, you show up, you're active each game, you get a bonus, you catch ball, you get a certain amount of catches, you get another million, like all of these things to incentivize him to stay on the straight and narrow, which he's had in the past and didn't follow, but maybe he's gotten to the point where he knows, like, okay, this may truly be my last shot at the NFL.
I always thought that Antonio Brown was on, like, he had hit rock bottom, and he's on the comeback tour. A lot of apologies. Seems like he's doing the right thing publicly. But this has all happened so quick. I mean, for 2 years ago, we knew Antonio Brown had a big personality or whatever, but it was, man, this guy's the best wide receiver in the game. Then it all started unfolding so quickly in Pittsburgh. He was racing his car like 100 miles an hour or whatever. He was doing this. He wasn't showing up to games because him and Roethlisberger weren't getting along. And now, granted, the narrative was spun against him. We don't know his side of that story. I'm sure there's something that hasn't been told why he decided that he didn't want to come to a practice or to a game or something along those lines. But then he gets traded to the Raiders. He goes to the Raiders. That whole fiasco thing happens, and the off-the-field stuff, and then he goes to the Patriots, and more off-the-field stuff. Then he becomes a rapper. I mean, it was just all so quick. Everything was
he got chest to chest with Logan Paul, won in a boxing match with him.
By the way, anybody that thought Logan Paul stood a chance in that should reconsider every conversation they've ever had with themselves. Every single one.
Logan Paul was a decent boxer, man.
He's Antonio Brown, dude. He would have been able to last 15 rounds if he would have had to.
Floyd.
Yeah, he would have been able to last forever if he wanted to. Now, granted.
So you're saying it would be a good fight? I'd buy the pay-per-view.
I mean, the company that airs one of my shows was going to pay him like $1 million to sign and then a potential another $1 million to do it. I think everybody would have wanted to watch that fight. But I think Antonio Brown would have won. I mean, I respect Logan. I do not want to fight Logan Paul. I don't want to fight Jake Paul. They are monsters of men, especially at this point. I mean, they're trained boxers. But in my eyes, Antonio Brown is one of the most explosive and elite athletes to potentially ever exist. I mean, that's honest. I think he is so explosive. I'm not 100% sure fighting him would be something I would want to do. But I think he's potentially on a comeback tour, but it's all happened so quick. It's going to take some time for people. I think it only takes one day to kind of ruin your entire image to people. I think it's going to take a while for him to potentially get back in it.
Yeah, it usually only takes like one thing to where people remember that about certain players. Antonio Brown's had about 4 or 5 of those things, though, and he continues to come back and continues to sell people that this isn't going to happen again. So maybe, I don't know, maybe he has hit rock bottom, and when he does, if and when he gets another chance, maybe it'll be his resurrection tour.
By the way, in the comments section, somebody just said Logan Paul won the diss track battle. I agree with that. Did you hear the diss track he put out?
No.
Banger.
Not back from the NO.
No, that was Antonio. That's Antonio Brown. Logan Paul put out a banger. I mean,
Can we play it?
I'm sure we could. I'm not 100% sure. I have no idea, but it was a banger. Everybody's like, oh, damn. Logan Paul plays no games. And then I remembered Antonio Brown shook me in front of 35, 40,000 people in the fourth quarter of a game that my family was at, and I've never seen anybody get into the ground and get out of the ground as quickly as he did. And I would just assume that could translate. I could assume that could transfer to a left that he wanted to send it anytime. I bet you he could have had it. I don't know, personally.
Look good, feel good, play good.
Play good, pay good, live good, die good.